We are now joined in studio by political analyst Thapelo Tselapedi. Thanks so much for your time. Appreciate it. So, no one would have thought this would happen in this NEC meeting, but it has. What do you think Zuma's chances are?
Look, I think it was interesting that this happened in the way that it did, but I think the ANC has been in a very strong pickle in terms of what to do, and I think a lot of voters and members want to see something tangible and practical coming from this NEC. But I think, agreeing with the analyst, it would be quite prudent for members of the NEC to go on a private ballot as opposed to show of hands and so on. But I think that Jacob Zuma is known to be a survivor in the ANC, so I don't think there'd be any surprise to the outcome of this meeting.
What does this mean for the party as a whole? It, of course, shows the public that they are very much concerned within the top brass regarding Zuma's leadership.
Look, I think in terms of the ANC's image, it has been tarnished. And I think for many of the members, there are different reports coming back in terms of how the voting went. But certainly in terms of the image of the ANC, it's been tarnished. And perhaps the intervention of the MK is going to be successful, at least in terms of whether the ANC is going to then have this consultative conference that the veterans have asked for. So I think something practical must come out of this. Certainly, I don't think that there will be a putting out of Jacob Zuma. But certainly, they understand that given the pressure of society, they need to have some tangible results coming to that conference next year.
What would you say is the current state of the ANC?
Look, the image of the ANC has been tarnished. That's one. Two, there are too many allegations around corruption. There are issues around leadership, and I think the ANC NEC has not been able to contain all of these things, and they've allowed perceptions to carry on. In the midst of all of this, then you'd find different opposition parties being able to gain a lot of ground when it comes to vote, and particularly coming to next year, definitely. So I think the ANC is moving on a negative note, on a back foot, moving to the 2019 national elections. So I don't think if they don't come out with, again, tangible results here with a comprehensive program as to what they'll do, we'll definitely see another loss come 2019 for the ANC.
Now, the party really is between a rock and a hard place here, because they're going to be criticized for actually having this discussion regarding whether Zuma should stay on as leader. They'll also be criticized afterwards if he, in fact, is still leader of the party. Yeah. So what do they do to actually, tell people we're working on it? Yeah.
Look, I think for a number of meetings, whether you go to the NGC of the ANC or NEC meetings, we've heard that these are the complaints, we hear your guys' concerns, but I think there hasn't been any serious response to the grievances, at least among citizens. And the ANC, if you go to last year's NGC, has been quite good to articulate some of the problems that it has, and some of the persisting historical problems as well. So I think right now there has to be much more clear-cut. What are we going to do? And I think one of the best ways for them to do that is to listen to the MK that's saying that let's go for a consultative conference as opposed for a policy conference. And then let's talk about some of the issues, but which we can effect tangibly.
So this is, of course, bigger than Jacob Zuma.
This is certainly much more bigger than Jacob Zuma. I mean, a large part of the problems are pertaining to, this factional issues around Premier League and so forth, and how much of his tentacles are in the different provinces. But I think that deeper issues, organizational weaknesses in terms of the ANC, membership and so on, and gatekeeping of membership and so on. So I think these are some of the issues they need to deal with. But I think central to that is the leadership issue.
All right, thank you very much for your time and insight. We appreciate it.
Not a problem.
That was political analyst Thapelo Tselapedi.